Guys, it's no secret. You know that I love barbell apparel. And if you have an athletic build, you're going to love them too, because you'll finally be able to wear something that fits as good as it looks. Right now, Barbell Apparel is running their annual Swolemate sale. Grab something for yourself and for your partner. Let your partner know that you noticed their hard work in the gym and give them some clothing that will help keep them motivated on workout day. For a limited time, get any of their jeans, chinos, or anything pants for just $99. That's $50 below normal. These pants are amazing. They're built to fit athletic bodies, and you'll have complete freedom of movement. Barbell's pants are as comfortable as sweatpants. The quality and construction is second to none, and they are guaranteed for a full year. Go to barbellapparel.com right now to take advantage of this special offer. Use the promo code CHAEL10 to get an additional 10% off your entire order. There is so much going on in the wake of Islam versus Volkanovski. I mean, it's so many moving parts. I love it. I love it all. This is a great time to be an MMA fan again, but let's just try to unpack this, okay? The build-up to the fight, the fact that it was made organically, the fact that it gets stuck in Perth, which is not known for fights, the fact that it's going to be a pay-per-view with no supporting cast, all the way to Josh Emmett and Yair Rodriguez. But then you start hearing other numbers. You find out that if you'd like to watch it, don't plan on watching it live in Perth, there's no tickets left. And then you get other numbers, such as Dana White coming out and saying it is trending to be a top 5 fight of all time, but it could come to be number 1. Just the data that we're looking at. It's going to be in the top 5, but it has the potential to go all the way to number 1. And all of us have to sit back and go, what? You're talking about the card that's going to be in Perth that we don't know anybody that's participating except for the main event? Yeah, that one. The one that DraftKings says is a 3-1 spread. There's nothing to see here. Favoring the out-of-towner coming into the guy's very backyard in Islam Makhachev. You're talking about the same fight is going to do such big things. The one that is so uncompetitive that we not only know it's going to be take him down, keep him there, repeat, which is one of the dullest things you could possibly watch. We not only are aware of that, but we're also aware that the great takedown artist isn't going to have his mentor, coach, and teammate in his corner. But that didn't level it at all, did it? In fact, the line moved. I've stayed consistent in telling you guys it was 3-1. It was a little better than that. It was just a slightly better than that when it finally went off. That's how sure we were that Volk could not defend himself. He went out there and he did defend himself. The judges did what judges do. How you don't rip a guy off when you're in this sport, the dirtiest sport in the world where we've been ripping guys off from the beginning of time. But this is the one time we're not going to do it. All right, fine. But like anything, there's a checks and balances, right? And I've talked to you guys about this before. When the referee pulls a guy off the opponent, calls it a TKO. When the referee does a TKO, that is the referee telling your 3 licensed cornermen that all have a towel and have the ability to stop the fight. If the referee steps in and calls a TKO, he is telling those 3, you guys have failed. I no longer need you guys. I no longer am entrusting you guys. In fact, I'm taking the number 1 power away from you, and I'm going to stop this fight. That's what that is. If a doctor comes into the ring and a doctor sees a cut or sees something where he gives the advice to the referee to stop the fight, that is the doctor superseding what the referee had seen in the first place. If you have a decision that is corrupt, you have a corrupted decision, you will then have a great body that can do great things because they have the power of hindsight. We know everything to be true if we have the power of hindsight. They do have it. So they will be all corrective. They will be all correcting, and they will have the ability to be spot on because of the hindsight, but that's called a rankings committee. So if we go out and we hold a fight and we got it wrong, there's still one more adult in the room that can tell us what actually happened. That's the rankings committee. Now, there is no entity within our sport that has less courage and has demonstrated a smaller amount of integrity than our rankings committee until now. Until now. Islam and Volk fought. Islam got his hand won. Got his hand raised. The rankings committee came out with the rankings 48 hours later, just on schedule, and they kept Volkanovski number one. I don't know where they put Islam, by the way. I even asked that question. I said, so does Islam come to number two? And the exact answer I was given, no, everything stayed the same pretty much, except Jon Jones moves up a spot. Now, I don't know how close that is, but I really don't need to, and neither do the guys. Islam himself, whether they got him at 3 or 4 or 5, really doesn't care where he's at. It's who's at number one. In this case, they kept Volkanovski. Now, what do you want to do about it? The final say, the final adults in the room have corrected what we saw. Do we rematch them? Is there any reason to rematch them? Is there any reason not? Is there a way to not rematch that fight? You always have an asterisk when the right guy isn't there. I remember Daniel Cormier, and it wasn't fair. Daniel Cormier could beat up any man in the world that weighed 205 pounds, except one, and that was Jon Jones, but Jon was not licensed. So Daniel did just that. He went up and beat up every 205-pounder out there that wasn't named Jon Jones. Got that championship of the world, but people would talk about, don't forget the caveat, he's the best, while Jon's not here. It was one of those things. And I think it's very tough moving forward for Islam. The decision wasn't as controversial as it should have been. The Australians in Perth had a job to do when that announcement came in. They had wrappers and nachos, and they had a job to do to help to tell the story. And they failed to do it. But now you've got the rankings committee. So now you're going to have Makhachev in a weight class that has an asterisk. You get to be the best 55-pounder as long as Volk stays down at 45. Or you can rematch him. They built the fight the first time. They gave it to you the first time. You, the people, did no hard work to get it done. The promoter and the organization, they did no hard work to get it done. The two fighters built it once. Maybe they can live with this now. Hey, you beat me, but hey, remember all the fans thought you should have won. And they part ways and they're happy. They go through life as friends. Maybe. But it sure appears to me as an outsider for a fight that had a decision, and that decision just got overran by an entity who had the power of hindsight and who are currently maintaining they were right from the beginning. From number 1 street, they've had Volkanovski on top. This fight is now over and concluded. The results are in. And they still have Volkanovski in the 1 spot on top.